Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I wanted to talk a little bit about what it was like for me to have a child and just like my whole journey trying to have a baby and dealing with infertility. It's Mother's Day, so in the spirit of Mother's Day, I wanted to just like I was reminiscing on just what it was like for me. So I just wanted to talk about that. So first, just a little background in history. In 2016, May of 2016, I was diagnosed with lymphoma, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is a blood cancer. And ever since then, that's basically when my journey began. I started treatment. I started chemotherapy for a few months, lots of chemotherapy. And then December of 2016, I did radiation for a few weeks. And then January of 2017, I had a stem cell transplant. And at that point, I stayed in the hospital for 30 days. And then I went home and I quarantined and stayed home for 30 days. And then I went back to work in April of 2017. At that point, I was working and just living my life, whatever. And then I realized I wasn't having a period at all. And when I was in having treatment, I was on a medication called Lupron where it suppressed my periods. And during that whole time, I just didn't have a period. Once I stopped the Lupron and I stopped all the treatment and I'm in remission, I guess. I was nervous. I'm like, why don't I have a period? So then I saw an OB/GYN and he prescribed me a birth control. So I was on the pill to try and regulate, first to try and get a period and then regulate my periods, have them on a set schedule. So I did that. So I was on the pill for a few months and then I had an appointment one day and I was just like, what if I want to get pregnant? And he was like, obviously, then you stop taking the pill. And I'm just like, well, what if my periods stop? And my period's no longer regulated? What happens at that point? So at that point, at that appointment, we decided I was going to stop taking birth control. And he referred me to a fertility specialist, just to see where things stand with me and having a baby. So I saw the fertility specialist, and there was so much testing. I let him know about my history. He did his research or whatever. And then from there, we did testing. We did blood work, and that showed I had very low levels FSH, LSH, all that stuff. And that's that's fertility / endocrine and the endocrine system, which I don't know much about. I'm not a doctor or whatever. But so all that stuff was low, not in the range that it was supposed to be. And he was just like, I have a low ovarian reserve and I had premature ovarian failure, which is something that I assume and we assume came from all that treatment that I took or that I had. So at that point, okay, it was okay, what are the next steps? What are my options? So I decided I was going to do IVF. And at that point, I had to order or take a bunch of medications and injections. And this stuff cost over $200. It was pretty pricey. And I did more blood tests and imaging. I did ultrasounds and x-rays. They were checking my fallopian tubes to make sure they weren't blocked. My partner also got tested. His sperm got tested. So once all the testing was done, I was to order the medications and then let them know once I had a period, the first or second day of my period, and then I would start the process, taking the medications and then coming in for them to do the insert the the egg and the sperm together and all that. So I was like ready in the beginning. Like I was ready. Like, well, not really. Once I got my period, the first or second day of my period, I was supposed to call the doctor's office and let them know. And that would basically activate the whole process. So I had gotten a period. And then like a lot of stuff kept happening. First, I missed the window, like the first or second day. Like I missed that window, and it was like, okay, we'll wait till next month's period. And then like next month came, and then I was like really questioning, like, am I ready? Don't want to do this. Like life was happening, you know, like work and school and like other things were happening. Eventually I was just like, I'm gonna wait. I'm not ready. Like, we're not gonna do this now. I'm gonna wait, and it's not gonna happen. Not like forever, but just not yet. So at that point, that was sometime in 2017, and I threw away all the medications. And now when I think about it, back then, I shouldn't have thrown away the medications. I could have donated them, or I don't know, tried to sell them, return them. Probably not return them, but like give them to someone or stuff like that. Like I learned after, like I was in like support groups and all of that. And there were so many people who could not afford the process, who didn't have insurance. My insurance thankfully covered like a lot of the process, the testing, the medications, everything. But like, I just threw away the medication. At that time, I was like younger and naive, and I didn't really know. But I threw away the medication. I was like, I'm not doing this now. Moving on. So that was 2017. Now, between 2017, 2018, 2019, I was still like trying to get pregnant on my own. Like I didn't completely like throw that out the window. I was trying to get pregnant on my own, but not like through IVF and like using the help of like the doctors or whatever. I was on YouTube a lot. I did a lot of Googling about things that I could do to reverse the diagnosis of premature ovarian failure, which is probably not reversible, but like, I don't know, maybe it is. I had a kid. But like, I was changing my diet often, like trying to be vegan, trying to just eat more fruits and veggies and less meat and dairy. I was like being active, trying to work out. And on top of that, I started taking so many like vitamins that I saw different women taking from YouTube videos. So I was taking calcium, vitamin D, vitamin E, something called evening primrose oil. I was taking that like from like skin health, eczema, acne. One thing I took that I thought, or that I feel like had a major role in like becoming pregnant was it's called Ubiquinol. And when I first heard about it, I was like, what is this? Like the person in the video like swore by the Ubiquinol. And I was also taking folic acid, iron. But she was like, this will strengthen like your ovaries. I don't even know, but I started taking that. That was the most expensive vitamin that I purchased. It was like $30 something or more. I can't remember. But I was like, So I started taking that faithfully. I was taking all these vitamins faithfully. And then, you know, just still trying to increase my chances of getting pregnant. After time passes, like I said, this was 2017, 2018, 2019, all that. Now we're in 2020. Well, currently we're in 2021, but follow me here with my timeline. 2020, it comes around. It's like the beginning of 2020, and I'm just like, I want to try again. So I started seeing the infertility specialist that I saw back in 2017. I started seeing him again. We did a little bit more testing, and at this point he was like, I just want to refer you over to Boston IVF. And I was like, really? I can't just... Anyways, so he referred me over to Boston IVF. I had like 2 appointments with them, and after seeing that doctor, as well as the infertility doctor from my clinic, it was determined that I needed an egg donor. Before, I didn't need an egg donor. I was just gonna do IVF, like my egg. They retrieved like my egg and my partner's sperm, you know. But now I need an egg donor, and I'm like, that's a lot more. Like, I felt like, damn, like that's more work, because I have to find an egg donor, and then like this whole process costs money, right? Like, if you don't know, like I had to like look through a registry to find basically look through registries to find an egg donor, and a lot goes into it. Like you want to choose someone who's in state, and these people are they're under the age of 30, and then once you find someone, they have to do all this testing, which we would have to pay for, and they said choose someone who's in state because we're paying for their travel if they're out of state. Like, a lot goes into this. We got to pay for their medical bills, the appointments that they have to have. It was a lot, right? So at this point, I'm feeling like, damn, like I don't have this money right now. I'm not like balling. I'm not rich. Like, this process could be anywhere from like $20,000 onward. So I was like, I really wanted a baby. I'm like, let's do it. We can put it on credit cards. Like, we could save. We'll do what we have to do to have a baby. So that's where we were. So at this point, like I said, we had to like find someone from a registry. We decided, let's put that on hold until we save money and figure out when we're going to start this. I remember in March of 2020, I had an appointment that got canceled because that's when everything had shut down. And then I remember having an appointment with Boston IVF, like those 2 appointments that I said I had, those were virtual. So like with COVID happening, it was like easy to be like, all right, let's put this on hold again. Like, we're still gonna do it, but let's just stop right now. So then we started living life again, doing whatever. This is in 2020. I'm trying to think, like, if anything happened. Like, I was told I couldn't have children, not on my own at least. And then August of 2020, I found out I was pregnant. Spontaneously, they say. I spontaneously got pregnant on my own. I'm trying to see if I missed anything. Hold on.
You did.
What?
The appointment where they was like, you have less than a 1% chance to get it. That we had a virtual appointment.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, I'm just going to lay it all out there for you. You have less than a 1% chance.
Right.
Less than a 0.5% chance of getting pregnant. And it was 2 weeks later that we found out that you was pregnant.
Oh, yes. That was my partner. So he has some details that I missed. When they told me I couldn't like have kids on my own, like they was throwing out some pretty low percentages, some pretty low numbers, like less than a 1% chance, like some low numbers. And that's why when I found out I was pregnant, I was in shock. I was in disbelief. And I'm like, yo, like everything is just in God's hands and you never know. Like, God has the final say, basically. I've been dealing with this. I had been dealing with it for like a few years. and my moods, everything had been up and down and up and down, and like still up and down after finding out I was pregnant. Like, for real? And then like even like my first few appointments, I was just like, they told me I couldn't have kids, and now I'm pregnant. I'm like, what does that mean? Like, I really wanted my child to be healthy. I was like, will he be affected in any way? Will I be affected in any way? Like, they tell you something can't happen, and then it happens. And then, long story short, I'm just blessed. Like, God is good. I got pregnant. And that's my story, and that's my journey. And I'll never forget it. Like, till this day, I'm just so happy to be a mom. Like, my medical, all that stuff that I went through, it was hard and difficult, but I don't know, it made me stronger and not like, oh look, made me stronger and not a quitter. Because I could have been like, I don't know, I couldn't have changed my diet. I couldn't have, a lot of things I could have just let pass, and I could have like let myself go. And I think my health had something to do with it, like trying to just be more healthy and better and taking vitamins and working out and all that stuff, I think had a part in it. But yeah, overall, it was God. And yeah, that's my story.